Hey Dan, can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Go to the YouTube stream and type something. I want to see if it'll get sent to the Mixer chat.
See if it somehow pops up on my front page here. Scrolling through. Nope.
I mean, I could just do this. Yes, it does. Okay, cool.
Damn that delay though.
Yeah, the YouTube is gonna have a stupid long delay. I don't know
No,
why.
like the delay from when I typed that to when it showed up on Mixer. Holy shit. Toggle timestamp.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal
Discord
stuff.
stream so you don't
And
hear
his
all
work
of us?
pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make.
That would probably be best.
So just to start
I can
you
bring
off,
it up.
this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Hopefully it doesn't
It's a
fuck
level
things
for
up, though.
Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this?
He was crazy.
This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
There's bee hopping in
And
this
that's
game, and I
exactly
love
what
it.
we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Now we're in Whispered. This one's probably one of my favorites that Coda made. Did you join it or leave it?
Join.
Oh.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from
When that
Coda.
text pops up at the top, when the stuff pops up at the top, is there actual sounds going on?
Yeah, he's talking.
You can click to fire the gun.
I'm not hearing any of it. If there's footsteps, I don't even hear those.
There isn't.
Yep, I'm not hearing that.
Security call
There's no
reached.
gunfire sound
Hostile
either.
alien life form.
Okay.
It's a
Huh.
very basic game.
It kind of looks like this game
Yeah,
was
I'm
abandoned
not-
mid-development. For instance,
Yeah.
you have this gun,
I just
which
don't hear
you'd
the
think would
words when
indicate that
when
there are
the text
supposed to
pops
be
up
monsters
for
or
some
enemies
reason.
somewhere. But then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Well,
You can't even reload the gun
watch it
when
on
you run out
stream
of
then, I
bullets.
guess.
But ultimately,
Yeah,
we
it's
don't really
fucking
know.
weird.
Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shift evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Yeah.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Are you watching, by the way, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Called Left Behind, I believe. The past was behind her, that's what it is. You can't walk
Yep.
forward in this.
In this game, you can only walk backwards.
But the
So it's
future
a
cannot be
short
seen.
and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
Why does the future
It is
keep
less
changing?
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
So, this is cool because this is the end of the road, right? But this road keeps repeating itself. Like I used to do this when when we worked on Reach. Like there were parts of the level that needed to be called out, and we would just replace the road you're walking on with another segment of the same road to save on space.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
So this
I wish I'd known
one
him at
is
the time that he
cool
was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it.
because
Once
like,
he stopped work on a game,
I'll wait till
that
you
was
start
it.
talking.
It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
So this one's cool because you can never reach the top. However, what's at the top is something very inspiring. I'll just show you. As someone that worked in game development, I've thought of a lot of these ideas. They're really cool. But you can never reach the top to see them, but that's the point.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
You're gonna love this. You walk around talking people down from pursuing their hopes and dreams. A key in one game unlocks a door in a completely separate game. Play as a pair of floating eyes emitting
A room
footstep
that's
noises.
warm and nice.
You are the queen,
and filled
dusting your
with little
jewelry while
ideas
your
for
kingdom
games.
is destroyed. It's just a bunch of fucking game ideas, dude.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if
Hey,
people
what's up,
thought of him
Yoki?
as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that.
A game of
It can
only
be a very
motivational
slow
quotes
climb to
played
get
one
there.
after the other while the player cannot move. You play as a loud, bodiless sound walking around confusing people. You start in a small room until you realize that you can walk through walls.
Oh, is that the SCP I played?
Shut up. This is serious
Scared the shit out of
trade.
you, zombie.
I just noticed you guys were hanging in Discord, so I thought I would come and see what you guys are playing. I'm playing the Beginner's Guide. It's a great game. So
By
check
the way,
new for
Yoki, I
Coda.
gifted
It's an
Silent
actual
the game,
puzzle.
so we'll see
Go ahead and see if you can solve
whenever
it.
he gets around to it.
So this is cool. This is actually a really neat little puzzle. So how do you solve it? There's emptiness. No switch. I can press E all around. No switch. So how do you open this door? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think about it.
I need a refresh. You blow through the door like glue, man.
You guys got any ideas yet? I gotta turn this down. Holy shit. No, but seriously, do you have any actual ideas on how to complete this? It's a pretty simple puzzle, honestly. Hey, Yoki.
Hey guys.
Come on, OBS. Quit your bullshit. So, you guys know how when you're playing Secret Lab...
All right, let me just walk you through it.
Shut up.
You're gonna hit the switch on the.
Shut up, guy. I'm explaining it to them. Shut up. You know how when you're
Yeah,
playing...
Tuco when I'm playing Secret Lab.
Whenever... Not you, because you don't play Secret Lab. But, you know when you're playing Secret Lab and you want to upgrade something in 913, but you're the only person in the room? So you have two options, right? You can drop the item
You have to
in...
flip the switch and then run in, kind of thing?
Yep. Watch.
outside to open the door, then hit the same switch and walk through
And
the
then
door.
there's a switch on the other side.
You'll see a second switch. Don't
Okay,
forget
makes
that
sense.
You know
solution,
what?
'cause
That's
we're
a
going to see
really
this puzzle again
sneaky,
soon.
sneaky.
We're gonna see it.
That is
I know,
really
right?
Cool. I like that.
That's super sneaky.
Then remember those 3 dots. That's Coda's calling card.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a
I
puzzle,
don't know
you
why,
get to
but
the
your
end.
stream's kind
Simple
of
enough.
jumpy for me.
All right, now I'm going.
It's because I'm
Could be
trying to coast or fucking multi-stream.